So I was talking with the boys in the office today. We were all kind of just venting our frustration with the way that our economic system is set up. I don't want to get into the politics side of it, right? Because I don't really fit in a camp there and I don't want to isolate anybody. But we were looking at the big, beautiful bill. And, originally, it looks like something that would be pretty good on the surface, right? You're reducing taxes and you're helping all these Americans. And overall, the idea behind it is if people are paying less in taxes, then fantastic, and it'd help a lot of people out. But as you kind of dig deeper into it, you start realizing pretty quickly that the United States doesn't have the money to do this. And so the only option here is to further the deficit. And no one can get these figures exactly perfect, but the estimate that I'm seeing is about 4 trillion over the next decade that this bill would add. Now, again, not getting into the politics side, it really has zero relevance if you have a Democrat or Republican. Like, the deficit just goes up. That's what it does. It just goes up and up and up and up and up. And that's really where the frustration lies, is that the money has to come from somewhere. And for most of us, we don't really understand what that means. Like, for most of my life, like, I had zero clue what the hell it means if you go further in debt. I'm like, well, who do we owe it to? Like, who comes and makes us pay it? And as I got more educated on this, I started realizing that all of that comes in the form of more expensive items for us. It comes in the devaluing of the dollar, right? And so, yeah, you might get a huge tax cut, and you might pay less in taxes, or maybe the government does quantitative easing and they start buying bonds and it brings mortgage rates down. But the end result of it is now a hamburger's $20, because as our deficit continues to increase, the only thing that happens now is that we kick the can down the road and we keep devaluing the dollar. Almost all of my videos is talking to you guys about store of value stuff, right? Is like, it's like we're in this weird simulation where if you don't know the rules to the game, you get completely wrecked. And most working class people don't know the rules to the game. Like, they were told the rules to the game is go to college, get a good job, save money. If you follow the rules to that game, you 100% lose. The real rules of the game is get rid of your cash, buy scarce, desirable assets, hold them for as long as possible, and get wealthy. That's the actual rules of the game. And it kind of pisses me off when I think about this, because so many people don't want to play the game. Like, my mom, for example, was a nurse her entire life. She's retired now recently. Congrats, Mom. Pretty awesome. But why should my mom have to put on an investor cap? Why should my mom have to learn about being a real estate investor, learn about Bitcoin? Why should my mom have to learn about stocks? Why should my mom have to learn about any store of value stuff? Like, the only reason that my mom or your mom or anybody's parent has to learn about this is because on the government side, they're so reckless with the money that the only way to protect your money is to go learn about store of value items. If they would do their job and there wasn't actually inflation, and your value of your dollar was the same as it was in 1900, you wouldn't have to learn about any investment stuff. You could literally just save your money and then retire based off of the income you earned. But the problem is you're in quicksand. So every time you get your 3% raise at work, well, inflation was 7. So you actually got a 4% decrease on your earnings. That's the reason why people have to be 38 years old now to buy a house. That's the actual average age now, the first-time home buyer. And so many of these things frustrate me, which is why I do this type of education, because it always goes back to this idea that I'm trying to tell more people how to play this game. And the rule of the game is get yourself into a position where you can hold a scarce, desirable asset. In my opinion, one of the easiest ways to do that is through owner occupancy housing, because you have so many available options to borrow on that. between down payment assistance or FHA loans with low down payments or even conventional loans with low down payments. So many loan programs do low credit scores. They have the Covenant program that does essentially huge down payments for people. So there's a gazillion ways through owner occupancy to get yourself into the game, and that is the thing that kind of jumpstarts you to put yourself into a position to eventually start looking at other asset classes. But I guess the whole point of today was just to kind of wake everybody up and vent my frustrations because, again, like this isn't a political thing. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican. Like both parties have figured out a way to be completely reckless with their spending. But it always goes back to the same thing, which is I'm going to say this 1,000 different ways. The smartest thing you can do to play this game correctly is to get yourself into an owner occupied house. Once you do that and you get settled in, you can start looking at other asset classes and it opens up doors and gives you options. So that's my rant for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my frustration, but yeah, I'm always here if you guys have questions.